Do you want your child to go down that road? Or do you want to help them completely avoid cavities and gum disease? My goal is to help you enjoy mouth health with minimal need for treatments. To get the core of this idea, let's consider how the biology of a mouth develops and pose the question, what if sealants or fillings block out good bacteria? But it is not truthful to say that sealants offer 10 years of protection from cavity. They only protect those molars. The bad cavity-forming bacteria remain ready to attack. Why are you told about sealants, but not about at-home or alternative strategies that offer better protection against cavities? Do you know children do not need dental sealants on their teeth? It might surprise you that as both a pediatric and preventive-minded dentist, I help children avoid dental sealant. Yes, children do not need sealants to avoid cavities, and if your child already has early cavities, there are better strategies that can reverse them in a matter of months. To move forward, I need to introduce you to a new way of thinking about teeth. In 2015, a huge international study, the Human Microbiome Project, known as HMP, shocked the world by telling us a surprising new fact, that over 800 kinds of good bacteria live in a healthy mouth. American dentistry has focused for over 100 years on a myriad of ways to outsmart and eliminate bad bacteria in the mouth. Dentistry loves mechanics, techniques, all kinds of brilliant interventions that remove bad bacteria or block them from reaching your teeth. Dentists love new concepts and materials. They get excited about treatments or products that could eliminate bad bacteria for once and for all. Mostly, this enthusiasm is generated by the marketing salespeople of product companies. And then traditionally, it gets supported more by dental dogma than by visible results. Dentists have drilled, scraped, deep cleaned, and blocked grooves in teeth with metals and plastics of all kinds. The mission has always been to wipe out harmful mouth bacteria. But dentistry cannot admit they have lost the battle. And the real losers are patients who have followed traditional advice, flossed and brushed. They went for cleanings every 6 months, and they needed deeper cleanings more often. They had fillings replaced, redone, then root canals and crowns. They spent their money and their time on all of this, only to find out by retirement that instead of enjoying a happy, healthy mouth, they had pain, bad gums, lost teeth, and were constantly fixing the ones that were left in their mouth. Do you want your child to go down that road? Or do you want to help them completely avoid cavities and gum disease? My goal is to help you enjoy mouth health with minimal need for treatments and reduce any risk of bigger and bigger fillings and more dental expenses. The secret is to understand a little about mouth biology, how habits can specifically nurture good mouth bacteria, and to start doing this as early in life as possible. If you have healthy mouth bacteria, they reward you. Yes, they can impart decade after decade of protection for your teeth and gums, protecting them from cavities and disease. Yes, it's that easy. But one thing matters. We need to know how to nurture healthy mouth bacteria. The idea of nurturing good bacteria has been understood by dentists and used in public health programs in many Scandinavian and European countries for over 70 years. They have proven this works. Now you can gain control over your own oral health at home and show off your healthy mouth and teeth that do not need sealants the next time you sit in the dental chair. All you need to know is how daily habits can feed and grow good mouth bacteria, and that they will take care of your mouth. I'll keep this video as simple as possible. But we do need to talk about some important things like sealants, saliva, and the best bedtime routines for a healthy mouth. Even busy families can enjoy great teeth. Take it from someone who was a hands-on working mother of 5 and now long-time grandma. Yes, I've lived the stresses of baby and toddler years. I've traveled with teens, worked athletic schedules, encountered college challenges, and I know the things that happen in adulthood. But I also know your family can have healthy teeth and avoid dental sealants, fillings, and treatments with a few simple strategies. then you can spend your money and time enjoying life, not sitting in the dentist's chair. To get the core of this idea, let's consider how the biology of a mouth develops and pose the question, what if sealants or fillings block out good bacteria? You see, sealants were developed in America and immediately proclaimed to be the preventive treatment that can stop cavities in the late 1960s. The idea was accepted as an obvious cure for cavities because dentists could now physically block cavity-vulnerable grooves in kids' teeth. The sealant approach was, and still is, strongly supported by the Center for Disease Control and the American Dental Association, organizations that to this day view all tooth grooves as being high-risk zones for cavities. There has never been any room in traditional dentistry for the idea that tooth grooves and fissures may be an important habitat for healthy bacteria, even after the HMB, that human microbiome study of 10 years ago. So today, dentists remain focused on mechanically cleaning teeth. And this means that if a toothbrush bristle cannot reach the base of a tooth groove, then obviously bacteria get trapped there, and we must assume this is bad, and therefore they will cause cavities. I understand the concept and the image, but since 2015, if not before, we have known the majority of mouth bacteria are not bad and not pathological. Now, the idea that most bacteria in a healthy mouth are healthy, well, that may be new to you. So perhaps let's twist this for a minute. How do you keep bacteria in your digestive tract healthy? We accept that for gut health, we need to eat healthy food, give our gut adequate time to rest. We know that gut health would never be improved by lining it with plastic, killing off bacteria, or some regimen of mechanical cleaning. So sealants have become a broadly used tool sold across America as a way to combat the high levels of decay that US children do experience. In other countries, like Scandinavia, the only children to get their teeth sealed are those kids deemed to be at very high risk for decay. They know that there are other options. Scandinavian researchers have even noticed that children with unsealed grooves in their teeth develop healthier mouths with a more diverse and mature mouth bacterial ecosystem. This explains why, for long-term health stability, the mouth needs a wide diversity of good bacteria, ones that are helpful. If this is the case, then why are we depriving American children of this health benefit? Especially when some say a diverse and healthy mouth biology may be linked to better immune and gut health. But despite this, modern dental leaders and the companies that train dental students are wedded to the idea that all molar grooves need sealants. My hope is that this video will give parents some information to consider and perhaps at least delay this treatment if your dentist suggests sealants. No parent wants to disrupt a vital habitat for healthy, good mouth bacteria in their child's mouth. This idea came to me when I learned that xylitol, used before the eruption of molar teeth, imparts a special long-term protective effect on new adult teeth, and they are observed to avoid cavities. Studies have shown far less cavities in teeth when children eat xylitol for 1 to 4 years before the new adult teeth come into their mouth, around the age of 5 or 6. Researchers have studied these long-term protective effects, effects that actually will continue even after stopping xylitol. One Canadian study even reported how xylitol not only lowered children's risk for cavities into the future, but teeth that had cavities showed remarkable cavity reversal. For years, I accepted the US approach to sealants. I sealed the teeth of most of my own children. But then I had a watershed moment while writing my book about the way healthy mouth bacteria travel into an adult mouth. My book, Mouth Care Comes Clean, explains how healthy bacteria need to populate the grooves of new molar teeth in young children's mouths. Then these teeth literally carry this population into the adult mouth, where they will develop and stabilize a healthy microbiome. I suddenly realized to carry a diverse population of healthy bacteria, these grooves need to not be sealed. They need to be a home, a habitat for good bacteria. Now, adult teeth enter a child's mouth around the age of 5 and become colonized by whatever kinds of bacteria are floating in that child's mouth at that time. All adult teeth have entered a child's mouth, usually by the age of 16. We then expect a population of adult mouth bacteria to have formed, hopefully with the power to protect teeth and gums from cavities and disease for life. Suddenly, it makes sense why other countries around the world, countries that top the charts for the best oral health, focus on family dental education about diet and how to use xylitol. They show kids how to enjoy perfect teeth during the preschool years. Parents and children use xylitol to develop a healthy oral microbiome before the new adult molars erupt at the age of 5. Most children at school in America are taught about diet and exercise for general health, but oral health education is stuck in the past on mechanical brush and floss messages. Children need this valuable information about nurturing good bacteria in their mouths with tooth protective foods, xylitol, and the habit of mouth resting. Bad habits like constant sipping and snacking damage teeth, and dentists think that blocking the grooves with plastic is a fix to these bad habit problems. But sealants are a permanent treatment, and they should be reserved as a desperate measure for children at high risk for cavities. A sealant cannot ever be removed and is likely to become a plaque magnet and a hazard that may lead to more fillings later in life. If you need an idea about how to know if your child is at risk or not, saliva testing can help determine the kinds of bacteria in a child's mouth. I suggest the oral DNA caries risk saliva test, which is easy and will help your dentist decide if your child is at risk or not. Then you will not seal those molar grooves unnecessarily. If your child has a healthy bacteria, no harmful cavity-forming ones. Most dentists believe there are many studies that prove sealants work. But I'm going to unpack how the pattern of tooth eruption has been used to rig sealant claims and show sealants protect teeth for 7 to 10 years. Dentists believe sealants protect teeth from cavities. They logic that if we block tooth crevices with plastic, decay in children's teeth is prevented. In the previous episodes of this video series, I have talked about sealants and explained how blocking cavity-forming bacteria from entering a groove in a child's mouth does nothing to change the kind of bad bacteria still floating in that mouth. Harmful plaque bacteria will continue to attack teeth, attacking any vulnerable place until eventually a cavity will occur, often on the sides of teeth or around the edges of the sealant, and usually about 10 years after the sealant was put into the grooves. So there's a real-world pattern of vulnerability to tooth decay between the ages of 6 and 16. A child can easily experience a cavity in the center of their first molar tooth because it takes a year for minerals, as we have already discussed, to strengthen that tooth. If we assume this one vulnerable tooth is sealed, there will be no other teeth at risk for decay for the next 10 years. This period of no decay has been hailed as a sealant success, but it is not thanks to a sealant. It is due to the fact that there are no other vulnerable places for adult teeth to decay in a child's mouth during the years 6 to 16. Let me explain. From the age of 6 to 16, there are no adult teeth in that child's mouth that would be vulnerable to decay. By 6 years old, kids have 4 new adult teeth at the back of their line of baby teeth. In my story, these new adult teeth are sealed. But then over the next 10 years, the only other adult teeth in the mouth are flat front teeth. Flat front teeth rarely develop cavities because their flat surfaces are thick enamel and are very resistant to decay. The 6 front top teeth and 6 bottom teeth that come through between 7 and 13 are these teeth not vulnerable to decay. Notice, please, that since the age of 6, there are no teeth now at risk for decay. This has nothing to do with sealants. It is the fact that the anatomy of the front teeth leaves them not vulnerable to decay, and the eruption patterns, the timing of new teeth, results in no more vulnerable teeth coming into the mouth after the age of 6. Let's consider a child with a diseased mouth. Let's say the baby molars had cavities and were filled or they were extracted. Then the 6-year molars would be at high risk for decay, for cavity. So the crinkled surfaces of these teeth are sealed, which definitely blocks these vulnerable spots. And now the smooth surface flat front teeth are not at any risk for decay, even in this diseased mouth. The parents don't know that the child's mouth is full of diseased bacteria. They assume the child's cavity problem was treated with those sealants. Aha! But the next adult teeth to be vulnerable, they come in as premolars to replace the baby molars at the sides of the jaw. When the child is a later teen, these adult teeth begin to line up. Suddenly, this child is now at great risk for cavities and may develop multiple cavities all at once, even around the sealants at the back of the mouth, and definitely between the premolar and molar teeth on the sides of the mouth. Shocking cavities that need extensive fillings and repairs. Often this kid and the parents are blamed for not flossing, but it was sealants that mask the problems. I say that the fault lies in the fact that sealants mask the underlying issue. Bad bacteria that never went away. Harmful cavity-forming bacteria were ever present. The kid showed no cavities, not because of the sealants, but because there were no vulnerable teeth in that mouth. Those cavity-forming bacteria eventually had the opportunity years later, but they were always poised to cause damage. They were just waiting for vulnerable teeth. So when there is no vulnerability between the ages of 6 and 16, it's just that one vulnerable spot in the first molar teeth, and it may have been sealed. But it is not truthful to say that sealants offer 10 years of protection from cavities. They only protect those molars. The bad cavity-forming bacteria remain ready to attack. What if we had educated those parents and helped them improve the bacterial diversity in this child's mouth? Let's not give a false sense of security that explodes on a young teen. Let's help parents learn how to use xylitol and offer the best chance of protection for these new adult teeth. Yes, a sealant may appeal to someone who doesn't want to care for their teeth. There are important daily habits that kids need to learn to care for their teeth, how to do gum massage, to always brush at night, and how to use certain mouthwashes, even ideally my complete mouth care system. If you have circumstances or children who cannot follow these patterns, there are other ideas instead of sealants. Maybe consider silver diamine fluoride in the grooves, SDF, or glass ionomer sealant rather than a plastic one. Your child can rinse with dilute sodium fluoride. Rinses like Act, and they come in a selection of kid-friendly flavors. Zelly's xylitol mints nurture good bacteria, especially if kids take a couple late at night, just before bed, after brushing their teeth. So how should you talk with your dentist and ask if sealants are needed and what your concerns are and your options? Maybe equip yourself with some notes about SDF, or fluoride varnish in place of a sealant. Don't expect a pediatric or school dentist to agree that sealants pose problems. These truths are not taught in dental school in America. Always ask if your child needs a sealant. And parents, you will want to make an informed choice about these sealants. And this video series was created to help you. So one thing should now be obvious. Sealants do not stop bad bacteria from attacking teeth. Yes, they mechanically block the attack in one place, but they don't stop the attack from continuing slowly and throughout the mouth. And they do not stop the teeth from ultimately decaying anyway. And another big concern is that these sealants may affect the mouth biology negatively. Studies in the 1980s showed the kind of bacteria that dominate a mouth are the ones that first gain access, a foothold in molar tooth grooves. In a healthy mouth, the bacterial population stabilizes in a healthy way if the adult molars are populated by protective bacteria. The kinds of bacteria that live in a child's mouth have been shown to contribute up to 40% of the eventual population of bacteria in an adult mouth. What does that mean? The health of a child's mouth at 4 years old is hugely important. And Scandinavia and other countries have known this for over 70 years. But the timing was difficult. As studies about the importance of this childhood colonization of fissures was being published, the idea of plastic sealants was being developed by the plastics industry. Did America want to promote xylitol? Or was it easier to use sealants as a preventive treatment for American pediatric dentistry? The AAPD, the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry's goal has been and remains to seal the grooves of every child's tooth in America. All grooves are thought to be cavity traps, and no one has effectively disputed this approach. Now, here's the truth. Remember, although brushing teeth is a good habit, you don't nurture good bacteria with a toothbrush. It is diet and habits that are the key for good bacteria. We need to end meals with foods and drinks that are tooth protective, like apples, avocado, cheese, nuts. Xylitol, too, is an amazing way to help you achieve success. Sealants are a fake and temporary fix that masks the underlying issues. If you still feel uncertain, take a saliva test and find out the kinds of bacteria that live in your kid's mouth. The most important time to prepare teeth is before sleeping. And don't eat or drink anything afterward. Any child with adult teeth should be working their way into using my complete mouth care system. But I encourage kids to always finish with a little xylitol after they've cleaned their teeth. Remember that my full system should not be used in children younger than 6 years old. We all know that sugar is bad for teeth, but it's the length of time sugar is stuck on or around your teeth that matters. Bad bacteria in the mouth feed on sugar, produce acid, and multiply. That's why I say beware of gummy or sticky vitamins and candies that stick to teeth and can cause great tooth decay damage. One of the worst things for your kids' teeth, and you may be putting them in that lunchbox, are crackers. They look harmless, but you pick out a piece of this cracker half an hour later. Also, all those acidic and sparkling drinks, even diet ones. The more often you sip drinks, the more often cavities can occur. Keeping children from sipping sugary drinks is essential to protect their teeth. Now, this doesn't mean you can never eat or drink ever again, but always end meals with the opposite of sticky, sugary foods. End with those tooth protective foods or a few Ellie's mints, and you will be fine. The best way to strengthen and mineralize a new tooth in a young mouth is to help it resist decay with twice-a-day use of a dilute 0.05 sodium fluoride mouth rinse. ACT has a number of kid-friendly flavors for people living in the United States. The window for maturing new teeth is during the first year after they enter the mouth. A kid's fluoride toothpaste can be used, followed by this rinse. I have more information about this in my system at drellie.com. If you have a child who is not easy to manage or who may have even refused to brush and clean their teeth, try to get them at least to use this rinse and some xylitol. Maybe last thing at night is the key, with nothing to eat or drink after. So this is how you can work to make sealants unnecessary for your children. Have them eat and drink at meal times. Limit snack times as much as possible. End meals with tooth protective foods and xylitol. And then don't eat or drink for an hour if possible. And yes, xylitol. There is nothing I know of on this planet that works quite the way xylitol does to fight plaque, build a healthy bacterial environment in your child's mouth. And one of the things I love the most is that you can use it with very small children. For infants and babies, we can wipe a solution of xylitol on their erupting teeth to ensure they are safe from cavities. Check out my new video about xylitol, how it works, how to use it at every age, and how it is a tool for the whole family. If you need a little more support or feel that you would like to learn more at a more detailed and slower pace, I have a new gum and tooth rebuild program, which you can access at learn.drellie.com. There's so much to know, and I hope each time we meet, you find a pearl of information that helps you and your family. Until next time, let's keep your teeth and your children's teeth healthy and happy. Thank you.